All right, here we go, you guys. Hi, my name is Dee Corchin, and I'm here with you on Tuesday night. It is May 4th, and we are here to celebrate our newest leaders and coaches off for change. And we like to do this special Zoom, and usually we live feed it over. Can see me, but what we're going to do is we're going to have some short interview time with our newest leaders. These are executive directors and above that have reached this new rank. And we know that success leaves clues. It is not easy to reach a rank like this. So we're excited to hear your stories and what it's taken and what it has meant to you to reach this rank. So Sarah Bond, let's start with you. Would love to hear first, how long have you been coaching, and just tell us your story and your progress to executive director.
Okay, thanks for having me. First of all, super excited to be here and super excited to be executive director at this point. It's awesome. So I actually started coaching. I had my first client in January, and just the one client for a good little while, kind of maybe messed with my confidence level a little bit. But then things started to really change for me in March. Kind of blew up and had several clients come on in March, and now April, executive director. So just had to hang in there and not give up. So
did you do any, because that's pretty big shift from one client in January to a bunch in March and then enough in April that brought you on over. Did you, having that long-term attitude is so important, but did you change anything in your actions that you were doing?
Yeah, I really do think that for me, just having those consistent, authentic, relatable posts online were just a complete game changer. I started off really timid, and I was really worried about being on there too much, maybe being overexposed, feeling like I was going to bother people for being on there too much. And I had to flip that switch in my mind to think, okay, this is something that I want to do. And this is something that so many people desperately need. And they are just not going to know if I do not put it out there. So I really focused on being intentional with my posts, really wanted them to be relatable to so many people because we all struggle with so many of the same things, and I knew that if I could just touch on those things to really kind of relate to them, that it would make the biggest difference. And so I just kept doing that. I looked to other coaches posts that had come before me for inspiration, and I feel like that's really a good idea because we all do go through the same sorts of things. And so you can put your own spin on it. But that helped me a lot as well, just to be able to come up with really good content for people to relate to.
Perfect. Perfect. I love what you like, that shift to the authenticity from the timid, right? So the timid, it really wasn't coming from the hard. It wasn't
Right.
exposing ourselves, which it could be hard, but yet it's a good one that said yes. But then that vulnerability, and finding that right balance to be able to touch people. You obviously have influence, and it goes a long way because that's a very fast pace that you grew. So so keep sharing and having fun with it. It's just awesome to see you grow like this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, Meredith Ray, can't wait to hear from you. Just share your story about how long you've been coaching and what this is doing for you, your family.
Okay. I actually came on as a coach in about mid-March, and was an associate director at the end of March, and told Meg and Dee, I don't know, I guess I'll be an executive director next month, more because it just sort of every week, Meg had told me try and aim to have 5 people a month. And so I was like, okay, I want to pay for my food. I can do 5 people a month. That seems achievable. And then from there, it was like, I have 5 people a week. And then the next week I had 5 more people. And the next week I had 5 more people. And all of a sudden I was like, well, I guess I'll have 5 more people next week, and then I'll be an executive director. And that's how it happened. I guess I just know a lot of people who are like me in the sense that I feel like I've tried everything under the sun, including crazy stuff. None of it worked. It was frustrating to not feel like anybody saw the real me because they were seeing extra weight, etc. And I just didn't feel comfortable in my own skin at all. And as I have shared that, I guess, a lot of people are in the same place.
Yes,
And
it
it's
is.
been so rewarding for me to feel like I can help you figure out what's going on. And there is hope and there is a solution for how you're feeling. And yeah, you're going to maybe look different in the process, but more than that, you're going to feel different in the process.
That is amazing, Meredith. And I mean, to come on in March and then the following month be an executive director really does show that you, the heart you have and the way that you were impacting others. And I know this is impacting your family too, right? Would you mind sharing that kind of the thing about private school?
So I told Meg and Dee when they were like, well, let's dream a little. What would be your big dream? And my family is very blessed already. But it was a dream of mine to be sure that my kids educationally were in a Christian private school. I just really desired that just based on where we are, school-wise, school system in general, to know that the people that were impacting and influencing their lives were pointing them to Jesus. And that was huge priority for me. And Chris and I, my husband and I had talked about that. It wasn't that we were not going to do it. It was just, it would be nice to not have to like, do we want to tighten anywhere else sort of thing? To not have to feel it would be great. We would have done with it anyway, but still. So I told him it would just be nice if I could be like, well, here, honey, I've covered private school. And as of the end of April, I think when my April bonus hits, I will be about $300 shy of paying for the full year of my soon-to-be kindergartner's first year of private school in just a month and a half. So
that's so great. I remember you said, I hope by the end of the year I'd be able to pay. And I was thinking, you told me how much it was. I was like, yeah, that's going to happen a little sooner than you think.
Right.
So,
and on that, it was so encouraging to hear both Dee and Meg. They were like, oh, we thought you meant you wanted to make that in a month. You needed to make this amount. And I was like, no, I need to make that in the whole year. And they were both like, you got it.
I love it. We'll keep going. There's so much possibility here, and it'll be great to see what other things you're able to accomplish by helping more people. So thank you. Awesome. All right. Next, we're going to move over to Emily Leinert. Emily, it's been so fun to watch your growth and your journey. And if you'll just share how long you've been coaching and what shifts have taken place in you to help you reach this goal.
Thank you, Dee. I'm so excited to be here tonight. Unlike the other two girls that just shared, this has kind of been a long time in the making. So I want to just start and share a quote. I've been coaching for 1.5 years, and I found a quote last night that really just kind of spoke to me and where I'm at right now. And it said, transformation isn't about adding more work to your life. It's about shifting your perspective so life becomes more magical, fun, and joyful. And that's exactly what this coaching journey has been for me. I kind of came into it really almost with just the wrong mindset, like kind of a frustrated mindset, not wanting to feel like I was selling something, not wanting to feel like I was pushing this on anyone, and just kind of having to work through that my own frustration and kind of mental block. And I was just kind of being consistent, doing the social media thing, and I was pretty consistent in growing my business, but just didn't see ED really happening at all, honestly. And I made a decision in like late January that I was going to tackle this year fearlessly, and I was just going to go after it. I was going to put everything else aside and see this as the gift that it is and just offer it and stop being scared to have the conversation, stop being scared for every post that went out there. And then last month at the end of March, I brought on my first new coach, and she and I just ran like crazy toward that goal this month. We did 18 health assessments in April between the two of us. I didn't know what that would feel like. It feels, now that I'm looking back on it, amazing. I'm just kind of at a loss for words. Like I didn't know that passion would ever really like come out. And every single one of those health assessments almost brought me to tears, like how much more passion I had every single time we had that conversation. And it was an incredible month, and I'm so happy to be a part of this team, and very excited to see where my business goes from here.
Oh, Emily, I got goosebumps. I mean, that is what it's
I'm
all about. I'm looking at your coach, Lisa. I'm pretty sure those are tears in her eyes. It is so fun to watch this kind of growth. And when, it's never about the accomplishment of the goal, it's who you become in that process. And I mean, that's a fundamental shift in the way you looked at your business and how you could serve and help others. And it's amazing the exponential factor that happened when you did it. So thank you. Awesome. Excited for your new coach too.
Yes.
All right, let's move over to Diane Nix. Diane, I can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you, Dee. And I'm really excited to be here tonight. And thank you so much for the time. I've actually been a coach for the longest time so far, a little over 2 years. But it's been a good journey, and one that I'm very blessed to have. I actually, when I think about what is the action that I took to make the change, I declared it. And I literally just said, I'm going to be ED and I'm going to help more people. And I'm going to do the actions to make that happen. I'm actually on my 3rd month of Fast Track to Freedom. So I'm doing the 30 days over and over and consistently over and over, and just putting some new posts in and new things in, but in the same spirit of it. And I think that's helping with the consistency. I'm still doing the cracking the social media code. So I think, keeping up with adding friends, having conversations. And what I'm finding is I'm living out loud more, but I am finding joy in the conversations. And that's what Lisa has instilled in me. So I have everything to thank Lisa for all of her support and the rest of this amazing team that I'm a part of. I'm so blessed to be part of this community. Thank you.
Oh, that's so great, Diane. And what a testimony to the power of, what is this business, connections and conversations, and social media is a great platform to do it. And then when you just put that consistency in, but the most important thing you said was you declared it. You made that, when we get that clear vision of what we want, the steps and the journey become easier to get there. So you've worked hard, super excited for you. Congrats. All right. Moving on up to North Carolina, Heather Ayers. Look at that smile. Let's hear from you. Can you unmute? There you go.
Hi. So I don't know that I'll get through this without crying, because this has been a long time coming and a huge transformation. Emily, I can absolutely relate to what you were saying. I've been coaching now for 18 months, and I feel like my journey has been, I didn't realize how much I had to clear the mindset. I think I came in with some fear and angst, and
Say the least.
And it was more about me than it was about the clients and who I could serve and what we had to offer. And so there was like moving through the minutiae and just the just letting go, weeding out my mind, and simultaneously being on my journey, as well as showering myself with compassion, both as a client that wasn't always consistent and a coach that was also inconsistent, and being like, and that's part of it. And often I was reminded by my partner, who's an amazing support, like, that's embedded in Optavia. That's what we are. It's not, it's not just linear. And it just gave such permission to be on my journey. And and I was saying it's quite fascinating because, oh my God, it's both Carol, who's been such a rock of support, and my business trainer, the golden heart of Zena, and you, Dee and Larry, who just absolutely believed even in all of my inconsistencies, saw me through that. And I did borrow so much faith from Carol. And really? So even though I couldn't relate to that success, I didn't think I could do ED. And I think that was a mindset. But what happened was that I brought on an amazing friend who after her transformation was like rocket fuel. And all of a sudden now I have a fire on my ass and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to stay 2 feet ahead of her. And it was thrilling because, and it wasn't fear motivated. All of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm seeing what's possible and seeing her transformation and the ease and joy that she was sharing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, get on this. Like, do you realize what's available? And just being inspired by what's possible, and it helped me to dream. And so it happened so quickly near the end of the month. All of a sudden I was like associate, and then I was director. And then within 24 hours, I saw like your next rank, and I was like, what do I have to do? I can do this. And it was really just declaring it. And within 24 hours, I had hopped that rank, and it's mind-blowing, just mind-blowing. I'm so honored to be able to speak on that, and that I feel I love my journey. I love that it's uniquely mine because I've learned so much along the way. And the fact, like, I'm going in all in. My partner and I were going to convention. It's just kind of like you get to that point where you're like, what are you waiting for? And so that's where I'm at.
Oh my God, you covered the whole life of an entrepreneur. Like, like the I don't know if I can do this, to, oh my gosh, I think I can. And, and all the minutia is a great word for it. So it's been super fun to watch your growth through this and to see your joy right now. I see a different calm and peace I haven't seen in you, which is a beautiful thing. So keep going and keep having fun with it.
Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Let's see, Christy Sauer. It's going to be fun to hear from you. Remind us where you live, Christy.
I live in Oklahoma.
That's right. Cool. We're going all over the US tonight. Good.
First, I just want to say thank you. I mean, I'm excited to be here. My journey, I guess, kind of the same, but I've been 9 months, started August of 2020. And, right out of the chute, just took off associate director, stated associate director, and then just director and just just right there. What shifted, is actually prior to that, let me say, I couldn't have done it without Connie Queen being my leader, my mentor. We work hand in hand. She has the same drive, keeps me going. I remember there was a pivotal moment in having a conversation about, I feel like I just keep coming up short. So we had a little conversation about expectations rather than, being intentional and what is my dream. And so I went back to, for me, this whole last month was focusing on my why, not only my personal why, but why I got into coaching. I didn't get into coaching to be focused so much on the numbers as to I wanted to give away what I had. And I wasn't doing that on social media. I was timid. I was fearful of what people were going to think. And then there was that fast track to freedom thing. And it was just putting it out there. Kept putting it out there, even if it wasn't comfortable. I was sharing it all, my photos, whether it be what was going on with my kids, my personal life. So I think that was the biggest shift in my mindset in this last month, was focusing on my own self-care, structuring the surroundings that I wanted to have. And that meant, my dream in business was setting boundaries and showing up. Like, I have hours that I'm working, and that meant setting those boundaries with my children and my family and being intentional on what I wanted to achieve in business. So yeah, social media was it. And then guys, I got to tell you, I just kept, 4 months, I show up to training. I lean on my mentorship. I just kept at it. And be honest with you, towards the end of the month, it just happened. Not only did my frontline volume just come in there, but then, my sister, who I got my first coach, and she just took off on fire. I kept encouraging, I always encourage people, share your story out there, do your before and after pictures. And that kind of just happened at the same time. And, that blew up. and she got her first 5 clients. I mean, she had senior coach in the first week, and my frontline volume went up the same day. It all just kind of took place like all at one time. And I was like, Connie, sent me the text, oh, you're ED. And I was like, what? I just kept at it. And I, when I wasn't comfortable, I gave myself permission to do it anyway. And, so I'm excited. I have to say that I did work hard and just kept, I'd be at 5,600, like right there at that mark. And I had to go back to why I'm here. I want to see people reach their optimal health, and I want to share that journey. And I had to, the people that were not now, rather than getting discouraged at what that meant, just moved on. And I think I heard it shared earlier, like all of a sudden, I did 3 health assessments with the new coach in one day and had 2 of my own. And, it just all started happening. So I'm
I
grateful
love when
to
that
be here.
flow, that flow begins. And you summed it up. I mean, we all watched you, Chris, Christy, we saw the 5,600, like right there. But it's truth, right? What we just said at the beginning, 95% is motivation and mindset, right? The rank is just a reflection of that. It comes when we're focused on the right things. So when you were able to center back, dial back, put your boundaries in place, and focus on what was most important, and how awesome your sister came on board in that same time, and you get to do this together, you got the flow and the rhythm going. So it's been fun to watch you, and just keep going, with that kind of mindset and energy. It's going to be awesome. Awesome.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you. And we get to roll right over to your coach, Connie Queen. So Connie, with your first executive director on your team, you're now a regional director. So just take a minute and tell us, what does that feel like when you begin to, raise leaders on your team?
Wow. I'm touched right now, because it just makes me so exhilarated and excited and honored and privileged. And to be able to walk hand in hand, not only with Christy and her sister that's come on, but with my mentor and you, and then to have, showed up here with everyone else that shares their experience through month after month after month. And I've picked up the little bits of tools along the way. And, and I just kept building that confidence muscle, because I started on program of June of last year, became a coach a week later. Christy saw Maya and Ross's post of our transformations and started her own journey in August. And I went to, I hit ED, and I've been ED, and then I pumped the fear brakes. Oh no, because I got, several coaches, and how can I do this? And you know what? It's not how can I do this? It's how we all do this together, right? And, how do you put more horses in the stall? Dan goes, you put some salt on their oats. That's like my favorite Danism. And then we just kept walking left, right, doing these steps that are here. They're, identify and approach and invite, and then do it over again, and keep doing these duplicable tools that are laid out for us. There's nothing I have to figure out. I needed to set aside my pride that I thought that I needed to figure it out and have all of the information first, and then just keep doing it. Lean on the mentorship, ask questions, point Christy and the other coaches on the team in the direction of the resources. I got caught in that be the hero loop. I've got it here. Let me send you the answer. I'll find it for you. No, here's where you find the answer, because then we all build our confidence muscles, and we all begin to build a much stronger team together. And so I'm just, I don't know, my heart's just full, my heart's just touched. And I have, it's hard to explain, because I've never felt this way before, because it's a new experience for me to be sitting in this position.
Very awesome, Connie. A lot of nodding heads. Your coach Zena is smiling. that description you said at the beginning about like, I want it, but you were pumping the fear brakes. I mean, that's just become very crystal clear to me what we do, we tend to do. And it's normal, but like when you were able to shift past that and realize I don't have to be the hero and I don't have to have all the answers. And guess what? When it's not I, but it's we, it's, you can do it, right? So that was a perfect summation. So very good. I'm excited for you, Connie, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So two of the executive directors on this team, their coach is on, as well as another one that ranked up in 1 month. So Lisa Bloom, who is now has 4 executive directors on her team with 3 that ranked up in 1 month. And Lisa is a dear friend of mine. It's been fun to partner with you on this journey. And so as an integrated national director, a very, elite position with Optavia, tell us what that feels like and what kind of shifts happened in you, Lisa, to make that happen.
It just feels amazing to me. I mean, truly, I was having a hard time holding it together while Emily and Diane were talking, because just seeing the shifts in them and watching them grow and being alongside them and cheering for them and rooting for them. And that is, I have said for so long, this has been the most fulfilling work of my life. And this takes it to a whole new level. I said that when I was only supporting clients, not only support, but when I had a big front line and supporting clients. And now that I am supporting coaches, in addition to that, it just, I mean, my heart just swells for everything. And so and it's true. I think we've all heard it said that our business cannot outgrow our ability to grow ourselves. And pumping the fear brakes is such a great description, Connie, because I've been doing that for a long time. And I've been making shifts. And I heard a story today about a butterfly and caterpillar and, how do I get there? How do I get there? How do I get there? And I think what I had to shift was I had to get out of the frenzy. I had to unclench my fist. I actually stopped trying so hard, if you can believe that. I stopped feeling desperate and scarce and started believing in abundance. And I had an epiphany in the shower one day and I said, what was it? How do I get back to basics? How do I get back to when I first became a coach and how excited I was about this business? And I just started inviting people to a conversation instead of getting ahead of myself and thinking, oh, I want them to be a coach or I want them to be a client. All I did was invite them to a conversation and then waited to see what would unfold. I focused on being there for them and listening to them. And I focused on knowing that what I used to say is true. Everybody needs this program. They just don't know it yet. And no is just not yet. And so letting go, you guys, relinquishing what I thought I controlled and controlling what I could, which was really uncomfortable because it was the daily actions, the kind of boring stuff, right? And not the frenzy, not the busy, not the clenching. So relinquishing what I thought was control was really uncomfortable for me. And it sounds simple, but it's not. If it's your pattern or your habit, you have to realize that you're changing that. And it takes time and support and effort. And I mean, I couldn't have done it without you, Dee, without the support of some additional coaching that I invested in. All of that culminated in where I am today and where I continue to see myself going.
Love that, Lisa. Yeah, the fear break thing, but the letting go, it's a weird phrase, like less is more in this business. And it's not less work, right? Because you were still doing the consistency, but it's less of this, right? And when we can release that and think in abundance, that was a perfect analogy. So thank you. Could not be more excited and proud for all of our new leaders. Thank you guys for taking your time out. Doing this helps other people move forward. So thanks for sharing your stories. And let's keep moving and let's just keep growing and helping more people. So love you. Thanks so much, you guys. Bye.